Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 20 of FTB Interactions. I have been continuing to clear dungeons around Aurelia here. Sorry, this isn't Aurelia, this is Euclides. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, each of these C's on the map is one dungeon I've cleared, and there was even one that generated completely above ground. That was pretty weird. But anyways, let's take a quick look at the loot I have. So, in here, things that are particularly exciting. Fluid storage, I guess, is nice. Some dragon armor, 4 draconic cores. But what really catches my eye is there's a flower in here. The cake flower. It generates mana from cakes, and I love these. I'm going to see if I can plant ball these, although I suspect that we can't. I think plant ball requires the thing to not have a tile entity, and, well, a flower does have a tile entity. At least I expect it does. But, yeah, besides that, most of the dungeon loot here I've already gotten in yesterday's episode, like all these blueprints. I was hoping to get a chicken, the chicken that lays the water, like that blue water from this planet, but I didn't get one. So, oh well. Maybe I'll do a few more dungeons eventually, but for now we'll come up with alternate ways to get that stuff. In fact, in the immediate future, I will pick up some of that blue water with a reservoir, if I happen to have one that's not already full. Nope, no reservoirs here. Oh well, we'll come back for it when we need it. We can teleport back to our main base and get on with today's tasks. So we're at the point where in this pack where there's like a million different things we could do. But what I want to do is get into applied energistics. So if we look at the quest here, let's see, it's probably in the storage quest. Yep, we can, if we follow this quest down, when we get the Emmy Controller quest, making 1 gives us 7. So I think that's a good starting point. Let's go for that. So it wants us to make cables first. Looks easy enough. As part of this process, we have to make Flux Crystals. In this pack, they're not made by throwing it into water, throwing Certus, Nether Quartz, and Redstone into water like usual. It's the same recipe, except you do it in a mixer. However, I noticed there's a chicken for it. And wherever there's a chicken, it's a good idea to use the chicken. So we just need to make 64 pure Flux Crystals, and then we can make ourselves a Flux chicken. And then it lays Flux eggs, which can be compressed into Flux Crystals. There's no crystal growth chambers in this pack. However, we can still grow our Flux seeds in a phytogenic insulator. Much better than throwing them in water and waiting 18 hours or however long it is without growth chambers. I've made our Flux cables, and the quest rewarded us with some more of these smart cables. Generally speaking, I won't use these applied energistics cables in favor, or I will avoid using these in favor of ME conduits, because these conduits are just cheaper. For each 2 Flux crystals, and conduit miners, whatever, it's free, but for every 2 Flux crystals, you get 4 ME conduits, whereas for every 2 Flux dust, you get 1 glass cable. And these have the advantage of they can be run in the block space of other conduits, yada, yada, yada. And then when needed, I'll just upgrade them to dense conduit. Well, most of the time I'll be using dense conduit. So yeah, let's put this stuff away. I did notice there was a strange looking recipe. Oopsies. Dense cables. So dense cables here. Where's the Flux dense cable? The recipe for this is 4 makes 1, and then you cover it, and then it looks like you can turn 1 of these back into 8 cables. So I'm going to assume that this recipe is supposed to make 4 and not take advantage of it, because that's a pretty silly duplication bug. Anyways, let's take a look at what it takes to make the Emmy Controller, because that is the next quest. Now, I know the Emmy Controller is made in a very unique way in this pack. It's done with the Compact Machines miniaturization. So, what here do we still need to collect? We need Skystone. I think these are just smart cables? Or is it any cable? I'm not sure. We'll research what exactly that is in a bit. Crafting monitors. We can craft these with our nano processors. Stellar alloy. But besides that, yeah, there's nothing. Aluminum, quartz, glass. There's quartz and glass. Who'da thunk? So just a bunch of stellar alloy and a little bit of skystone. Alright then, we've already got our stellar alloy from looting dungeons, but I think if we need more, we can craft it reasonably easily. Yeah, we have all this stuff. So it's skystone. Skystone then comes from mining missions in the asteroids. So if we go to our space tab, here it is. Obtain skystone from an orbital miner. So we need to make a... Oh, okay. So I guess we can get it from the orbital miner or the asteroid missions. Given that, I think the orbital miner is just more powerful. Perhaps it's also more expensive. But let's go build one of these up on our space station. It has to be built on a space station, and it takes a lot of power by the sounds of things. And it takes a lot of advanced machine frames. Almost all the orbital mining drill components are available, except the ruby or the chrome for the advanced machine structures. This is still in our blast furnace. So while that cooks, let's make our chicken. Oh, poor chickens. Some people have asked, so I'll just show it real quick. The chicken breeding process, if you only make one, is that you breed it with a smart chicken, and then you wait for the child to come out, and it's a 50-50 chance whether you'll get another Flux chicken or you'll get a smart chicken. Obviously, if you roll the smart chicken, you just keep rolling until you get the Flux chicken. So in this case, we will get lucky. And then you just start breeding these together until they get to 10-10-10. And because of the time in a bottle, this process is really, really quick. In fact, how about I'll just not accelerate or edit this bit at all, and we'll see how long it takes to get a 10-10-10 chicken. I expect it'll be a couple minutes at most. A couple minutes of real time. We'll use maybe an hour of time in a bottle time. But I just alternate whether you replace the left or the right chicken with each child. And once you're a few generations in, it's the progress per tick goes up a lot, because it's based on I suppose it's based on the growth stat, if I had to guess. And, the growth stat goes up over time. So we can already see that these are breeding much quicker. And then when the time in the bottle runs out, I just refresh it, because I have 41 hours in my bottle. Sometimes I forget if I just swap the left or the right, and it really doesn't matter, because all it does is, that might cost me, a minute, or not even a minute, 10 seconds of time down the line. We're almost there. So this is why I'm not going to bother automating this process, because it's fast enough that by the time I'm done automating it, it'll have taken a couple hours, and here we are, 10-10-10s all around. By the time I'm done automating it, it'll have taken, an hour or two of work, and it'll never save me an hour or two of time. And then I just breed them like this until we have a bunch of 10-10-10s. And then I throw the excess out. Goodbye, chickens. So, Flux chicken lays eggs. They get compressed into Flux crystals. This process is bottlenecked pretty hard by the chicken. I think one compressor can probably handle 4 or 5 stacks or whatever roosts of chickens. But if it turns out we do need more, then I can add them later. We don't exactly consume Flux crystals at more than 1 per every couple seconds, right? I hope. And the advanced machine structures complete the list of materials for this, which conveniently enough awards us with a Ender Spectre Coil. That'll allow us to transfer items much faster. Alright, or rather not items, transfer energy much faster. Now this has to be built up in our space station, so let's head up there. And I don't think it matters what system the space station is in orbit around. However, let's fly our space station back to the normal, back to our overworld, or I guess it's normally in orbit around the void world. But let's see. Terra is what is Nova? Or is Nova? No, Nova doesn't have a moon. I don't know what Nova is. Let's go to Terra. And yeah, this is a void world. So we'll select here. And I guess we have exactly the right amount of fuel to warp there. But I did bring some extra fuel with me, so I'll put it into our warp controller for the future. While we warp, let's see about building our orbital mining drill, laser drill, whatever. It's pretty big. I guess we can expand our platform a little bit, just so we have walking room around here. This looks good. Let's build it. Our orbital mining drill is built. I'm only giving power to one input right now, just to test to see if that's all we need to do or if we have to power them all. But I do believe it needs a redstone signal to run, so let's grab ourselves a lever. And I assume you have to power the controller block. You have to give it a coordinate, although I don't think the coordinate matters. And based on the fact that the run button doesn't do anything, I guess I have to power all the inputs. Before we go rehauling the power system, I recall this also needs to be able to see down. So I dug a hole out under it. I hope that's big enough a hole. Should be fine, right? Anyways, let's see if we can turn it on now. On. Doesn't look like it's doing anything, huh? Reset? Alright, let's try powering all of the inputs one by one. I've powered all the inputs just by placing the coil on it briefly. Now if I turn it on, still no good. Maybe all these blocks need to be exposed? This is one of the problems with advanced rocketry. When things don't work, it's not very obvious why it doesn't work. Oh, that's what the lens is for. I need to put the lens in the lens slot for it to work. Maybe. Well, that was at least one of the many things that were previously wrong. It's still not drilling, however. So I managed to get it to run briefly based on the fact that there are items in at least one of the output hatches. That's just that one. But I'm not quite sure how I did it. So this clearly doesn't work. I think what I did was when I put the redstone signal here, it ran? Nope. Still no go. Okay, that clearly wasn't it. No, what if I change a coordinate? No, I'm so confused. While tinkering with it, I did the unimaginable. I got advanced rocketry to crash that game. Who'd have thought this was possible? Who'd have thought? Wait, I got it to run briefly again. I just switched the coordinate and hit reset. So let me try reproducing those steps, but this time it does look like I have to power every power input. It runs until, the first power input runs dry. I guess for now we'll be limited a bit by our power buffer's ability to accept or output energy, but these should all be getting powered remarkably slowly. Why are they only receiving like an energy input per second? No, I guess it's just because this is split like 7 different ways. Alright, anyways, are you running? You were, but you are currently not running. How do I make you start running again? Advanced rocketry. Still no. Oh wait, you're doing it. It's doing the thing. It's mining. Aha. So yeah, it'll run. The rate that it drills is obviously dependent on how quickly I power it, but I'm not powering it very quickly, so it'll be slow. But hey, look, Skystone. That's what I want. Everything else here looks reasonably superfluous. I'll let it run for a while, fill up most of this chest, and then I'll set up some type of filter system. Cobblestone is definitely being thrown out, but I don't know what else this can get. The fact that I can get living rock is convenient, and living wood, it means that I don't need to set up an automation system for those. And I guess it at least gets some ores. I just set up a trash can to take care of, so far, only cobblestone. Looks like everything else here has at least some usage. So I'm going to let this chest fill up, and then this place is trunk loaded, so we'll come back for it in the near or distant future. For now, let's head back to our base and use this skystone to do stuff. Probably make an Emmy Controller with any luck. I was just going through my quest book, cleaning out some quests, clearing out some blockers, and notice the Star Metal Vein quest, which I just cleared, has a perfect attuned celestial crystal, but I don't know how to check its the constellation until I claim it. So let's figure out what constellation this crystal is for. It is for Orologium. Ooh. I got big plans for you, buddy. In other news, the Emmy Controller is crafted through multi-block miniaturization. So it's done by building this multi-block within a miniaturization field. So let's build it over here. Yeah, I don't think I'm using this area for anything else. It takes a fair bit of space, so make sure you leave yourself some space to do it. Build that, you right click, invalid field, yep, that's fine. And then all you have to do, we do have to raise this, don't I? Yeah, let me raise these off the ground a little bit. Basically, these point at the center of your field. So because this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 7, I need these raised 4 blocks off the ground. There we go. I guess it only had to be raised 1 block off the ground. And this orange region here is the area that it's looking for the thing you're building. So I think, oh, hold on, I've made a friend. How did you guys spawn? Please get out of here. Thank you. Goodbye. Anyways, let me figure out how they spawned first. There should be... Yeah, there's that. Oh, uh-oh. Now I've broken everything. There should be spawn blockers on those trunks. Let me double check. I'll wait for daytime. Until then, you have to build into this orange area, and I just want to check to make sure, is 3x3 large enough? Are there any recipes? I guess there are some that are 5x5. So we'll eventually need to make this larger so we can do the 5x5 recipes. But until then, this will suffice. Now, before we can actually build the controller, we have to get all these components for it. So I think everything here is just crafting, maybe a little bit of processing, but nothing too out of the usual. However, this engineering processor, let's look up how to make it. So we need hydrochloric acid, printed silicon, printed engineering. This we can... Skystone lens. Okay, that's not bad. Are there better options? Wait, why does using better wafers get you less? Huh. I assume that's a bug. Anyways, engineering circuits are, I guess, the same thing, except it takes diamond plates. Okay. Let's go craft some of these then, shall we? Laser engraver, B, laser engraving. So the Skystone lens is being used to turn wafers into printed silicon, and in the queue are diamond plates and gold plates as well. The printed circulation process, or calculation processes rather, have to use pure Certus, which is a bit more difficult, at least compared to gold or diamond plates. But I think they're also not used in quite as many places. So yeah, they're actually pretty low demand. Whereas I think these are much higher demand. Well, maybe, yeah, 1K and other storage components. Whereas these calculation processes aren't used nearly as often. Anyways, this will take this a little bit. I'll probably make it go vroom vroom. And then the next step then, once we have some of each crafted, is to put them together in a assembler. I'll probably just keep reusing this one assembler. This assembler has like 7 different fluids stocked near it for depending on what recipes I'm using. Once I get the A system up and running, I'll start auto-crafting, or I'll start dedicating assemblers to jobs, because with auto-crafting, that'll be more important. Like we'll have one assembler that is our soldering alloy assembler, and it's our rubber one, and one is our polyethylene one, instead of constantly swapping whichever fluid is in the assembler. Who wants to play a game of Find the Machine Making Hydrochloric Acid? I'm 100% sure one of these chemical reactors here makes hydrochloric acid. I just, for the life of me, don't know which one. Found it. Winner. GregTech. A classic example of GregTech overusing these program circuits. I don't know why these recipes use program circuits. It's kind of annoying when assemblers use them, but there's only 5 assembler recipes total that use hydrochloric acid, and all of them have program circuit 0. So at that point, it's like, is the program circuit really helping you any? And there's no recipe overlap. They all use the same silicon. It's just, silicon plus a different item, but they're all on 0. So I wish it wasn't there, because it makes switching between recipes more difficult. Now if I want to switch this assembler back to making covered cables, I have to switch this to 24 and switch the rubber out. Now it makes sense to use the circuit for cables because you don't know if you want to make 1x cables or 2x cables or yada yada yada. But specifically for making these circuits, it really is superfluous. Oh well, we are almost done laser engraving. And here we have it, a few processors. This will take it a little while, but I'll just let that run in the background now that we have, 3 engineering processors is more than we need for the time being. Also, I'm going to get rid of these conveyor belts. I keep, whenever I dash by, sometimes I get caught on them. I've gathered up all the components for it, and now it's just a matter of building it. Unfortunately, there's no preview for this. Normally, if I'm doing a lot of miniaturization, what I'll do is I'll build a second copy over here and use a builder to do clones, or like a copy-paste gadget. The copy-paste gadget won't work here because so many of these are tile entities, but I do believe the builder can copy tile entities. Anyways, I'm just going to build this one by hand, and because I'm only doing one, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, I think this is it. The only difference between what I've built and the preview is that the preview seems to show smart cables where I used regular cables because I'm a cheapo. But that does seem to have done the trick. Oh, it even gives you your cables back. Haha. Nifty. So I guess it doesn't matter what cables you use. I don't know if that's intended. That doesn't seem intended. But there's our Emmy Controller. So, quest reward, 1 gives you 7. And 8 is definitely enough to get started. And does this give us any more? No, but it does give us cores. Alright, nice. I feel like I'm getting trolled here. Where did my other 7 Emmy controllers go? The quest here, I even relogged just in case it was like a quest desync. The quest here is claimed. That's an actual Emmy controller, right? That's not a troll Emmy controller? Like, that's the real thing. 5774. 5774. But they're not in my inventory. I'm going to try something. Alright, so we're going to go into edit mode, reset the quest, which should mark it as complete again. If we leave edit mode, alright, real quick, you know what, I'm even going to drop off everything in my inventory that's not an Emmy controller. Alright, so all we have in our inventory is an Emmy controller, and claim these. I feel like I'm getting trolled. I'm gonna look at the quest data, see why it's not actually giving rewards. Aha, figured it out. This quest is set to only give you the reward if you don't have one in your inventory. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's a bug. And who knows, maybe Sereth is an evil genius who did this to trick me, and I've been sufficiently tricked. But why does the quest not autocomplete anymore? Anyways, when bugs work against me, when bugs work in my favor, I don't take advantage of them. So when bugs works against me, I'm going to say it's fair that I get my 7 more Emmy controllers. Now, one thing I have to ask myself is, how do I want to use my Emmy system at first? Do I just want to do it as storage or auto-crafting? Well, obviously I want auto-crafting because our logistics pipes is a perfectly good storage system. Then I guess the next question is, do I want digital storage versus stored in these modular storages or elsewhere? And looking at these recipes, they're not bad. These are actually material-wise cheaper than the vanilla recipes. However, they require a fair amount of time and a lot of steps. And that's just for the 1K. You have to do, upgrade it to your 4K and then to your 16K, yada, yada, yada. I think 16K is probably the size we can go now. Following the trend. Yeah, we don't, well, I guess we have a tiny bit of platinum, so we can go up to 64K. And I guess it stops there. We don't have extra cells in this pack, or do we? Nope, no extra cells. So 64K is as high as it gets. Given that, I think I'm going to stick with modular storages for item storage for now. And I think I actually want to set it up that once I switch over to the ME system, I'm going to almost completely rip up my logistics pipe system. Basically, right now, all my logistics pipe is a bunch of, storage linking, with the exception of the few places, right, where I have like export buses or, providers or suppliers rather, which are practically speaking, or sorry, no, they are providers. Like this, these provider pipes and this provider pipe that's a provider module that's in this chassis. Nope, this is a supplier. I get the words provider and supplier mixed up in my head all the time because they're synonyms, right? Except they're opposites in logistics pipes. That's my fault, though. Not any fault of the naming, I think. Anyways, my point is, I think I want to be able to completely rip out our logistics pipe system, with the exception of the remote order, because the remote order lets me order items interdimensionally, which we won't be able to do with Applied Energistics until we get the wireless crafting terminal, which I suppose I could at least look at the recipe for. Oh, maybe the wireless crafting terminal won't be as bad as I fear. Although the infinite range version isn't available until the IV era, so I'll probably want to keep our wireless order available for interdimensional stuff until then. While we do get infinity boosters, well, while they are craftable, they're a little expensive, and these only last, about 1 second a pop. Withers do drop them. In fact, I think we have a few from Withers. No, those are boosters. Yeah, we have 9 from Wither drops, but again, 9 lasts a couple seconds. So unless I set up a large Wither farm, we're not going to have enough for prolonged wireless use. The point of all that rambling was I'm going to want to pre-craft a bunch of these components that I have pinned up here before I go ripping up my logistics pipe system. So the one that catches my eye the most is the Emmy interface, because this uses energized polylattice isometric crystals, which is just the renamed version of the Applied Energistics, what's this normally called? Certus quartz. But because Greg Tech provides its own version of Certus quartz, these have been, retasked as diploid polylattice crystals. So let's see about making the chicken. Doesn't look that bad, with the exception of, liquid antimatter. All right, this is starting to look bad. Let's skip the chicken. We don't need that much of it, right? We need 1 piece per interface. And looking through these things, that's really the only item that needs it. So, given that, let's not make the latticite chicken. Looking through the options, we either need the latticite chicken or a wither farm. So given those, I think the chicken is easier. I try to find some information about how antimatter is made. And it seemed to be if you shoot, it's not doing it. It might need to be real lighting. If you shoot a bucket of life essence with lightning, it's supposed to turn into antimatter, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Alright, plan B. If you right-click a sigil of consumption on a block, it turns it into antimatter. I made sure to disconnect it from our main platform here because it turns all connected blocks into antimatter as well. When you break it, it does not leave liquid antimatter behind. Maybe it needs a block underneath it. Nope, that didn't do it either. So while I do a bit more research to figure out how to make liquid antimatter, let's take a look at how our mining drill here is doing. So for some reason, this is a not sortable inventory. Which makes it kind of hard to tell exactly what we have, but stuff like obsidian, all of these colored blocks can be pulverized down into shards. They have a chance to give something else potentially useful, but those shards can be recombined into the actually additions crystals, which is kind of nice. So I guess I'll take the obsidian and turn it into EMC. I am a little low on EMC. But besides that, yeah, just resources. I mean, considering it only costs power, I guess it's a good trade. It's down to 54k EMC, but now we have 1.3 billion. Oh, the magic of obsidian. I'll revisit the flux problem later. I think what I'll do is I'll set up a large platform of of liquid life essence and see if natural lightning behaves differently from the summoned lightning from the engraved thunder. I think maybe there's, it has to be natural spawn lightning. So what I'll do is I'll probably go to my void world and just set something up to wait for a thunderstorm to roll by. In the meantime, well, worst case scenario, if I can't make it, I can get, I think it's like 8 pieces of flux from this quest. It does require a smidgen of tungsten, but I think we can scrounge that together if needed. So moving on then, let's see what else we need to make this chicken. This chicken's going to be a challenge. So I've already got a dislocator. I need to make a couple of these, but making 2 isn't bad. We just need to, we need another star, and that makes us 4. The infinity reagent we have, so the other thing is the improved nether star, or the quantum star. That's a nether star in radon, and a radon is most easily gotten by the radon chicken. So let's see about making this. I need my tiny pile of plutonium dust, and that's really the only thing, right? This is, very easily made with our alchemical matter infuser. To get that little bit of plutonium we need to macerate granite for its chance to produce thorium. Let's see, whoopsies, maybe a little too much acceleration going on here. But I think the thorium is a relatively low chance. There we go. And once we get a little bit of that, we can turn it into uranium. So every 4 pieces of thorium gets turned into 1 piece of uranium-238. Thankfully, Greg-Tech uranium doesn't kill you for holding it. If IC2 wants to take any notes, IC2, you listening? IC2? And then you can then process this down in a centrifuge for 2%, and we don't even get a bonus because we are already at HV. So let's process this one and see if we get lucky right off the bat. In fact, actually, do I even have an HV centrifuge yet? I might not. I definitely do not. All right, here goes. First try. Hurry up. Come on, give it to me. Unlucky. Anyways, this process is going to take a lot of granite and a fair amount of time. Unfortunately, I should have started it earlier, but I didn't. So I'm just going to get a bunch of granite with our EMC table that we now have a billion EMC in. And we'll just let it do its thing. While I wait for that thorium and all to process, we'll use our last bucket of unstable mana to make 2 mana pearls, which are for the radon chicken. While waiting for that to process, I decided to go look for our titanium vein again. I also saw that there was a uranium vein on this planet, so maybe I'll run into that. But I found our titanium vein, so this dense titanium ore can be pulverized directly into titanium dust. Oh wow, this is really convenient. Right, because this can be direct... Oh no, this still needs a blast furnace. Never mind. I thought it could just be smelted. Well, nevertheless, this is even better than finding rutile ore. You just get titanium ore. And the vein's pretty big. It also appears to be a dungeon nearby based on the fact that there's a bunch of boss bars up. From that one vein, I got... I don't even know how to count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times 336, so just over 40 stacks of titanium, and each of these ores processes into 4 titanium dust. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of titanium. It's going to take some time to cook it, but all that is a blast furnace. Anyways, I'm going to keep looking to see if I can find that uranium vein. Unfortunately, there's no surface marker for it, so no, that's too deep. I know it's between Y level 40 and 10. So I guess I just randomly hit veins until I find it. Ah, I found it! The famed uranium vein. So this will easily provide enough uranium that I don't need to worry about that granite processing anymore. In fact, I probably already have enough. But I'm going to harvest some of this stuff and turn it into our radon chicken. Instead of processing down thorium for piddly amounts of uranium, I can just process this uranium ore now. Much more convenient. And much faster. Now it's just a matter of rolling 2% rolls until we succeed one of them. Wait. Nope, wrong one. Aha! We got a second one right there. But we only need one. One tiny pile of plutonium-244. that we can make our radon chicken. Next up in Crimes Against Chickens, we are shoving the Enderman's Heart, some plutonium, and some mana pearls, as well as some, I don't even know what these are, like raw energy, into an extremely intelligent chicken so that it can lay radioactive eggs. Have fun, chicken! And then we make our radioactive chicken breed to make more powerful radioactive chicken. But I think that is all the time we have for today. So we'll wrap things up here, come back next time, finish up our Quantum Star, and work our way towards the Latticite chicken and the rest of the Emmy system. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.